Hey people of the interwebs, it is Q with another scuba diving adventure. Saturday morning, 7:15, and it's 12 degrees centigrade. And you join me heading down to Wildcat Dive in Caloundra. Today, I believe they have a student who is doing a solo divers course, although it's not really called a solo divers course. I can't remember the technical term for it, but that's essentially what it boils down to. When I did look at the coast yesterday, all of the dive sites were still looking pretty good. Because of the low tide situation that we're going into this morning, Kings Beach would probably be the last choice on my list, whereas Shelley's, the Keyhole, Moffat Beach and a few other dive sites off the Curramundi shoreline there would certainly be the choice for today. So I guess we'll find out which dive site we're going to when I get down to the coast. So after a quick look at Shelley Beach, it was decided that the conditions were pretty okay to get in, but after an hour's worth of diving they would have been very difficult to get out, especially for the students and the lady who's with us who hasn't dived in over 12 months. So we are now back at the ever popular Moffat Beach. The surface conditions at Moffat Beach were as almost perfect as they could be. So we did our 200-meter surface swim out and then dropped down into relatively shallow water because of course we were diving on a low tide. Dropping down into 4.6 meters, which is 15 feet. The lady who hadn't dived for a while had a bit of problem with not enough weight. So Lee was on the surface with her and he was carrying extra. Once he'd handed her 2 weights, she dropped down like a pro. On this particular dive there was myself and 6 other divers, and once dive lead had given us a heading, we swam off in search of adventure. 5 minutes into the dive I checked my console again and my computer was telling me that hey, my battery's not good enough, I can't carry on giving you the information you require. So I turned around to my buddy who has an extra Mares puck which he lent to me, and I strapped that to my wrist and I was good to go. We encountered some beautiful sea stars on this dive. This little fellow was so cute when you do the finger size test. This one was obviously trying to hide away from something but couldn't find a crevice big enough to fit all 5 feet in. Somebody said to me, "Oh wow, you see so many creatures on your dives, is it always like that?" The answer is no. There's a lot of boring stuff that I have to cut out of these videos, but even the boring stuff is fantastic when you look at these beautiful hard and soft corals that I'm swimming over here. This was the only nudibranch I saw on the whole 70-minute dive. Now the eagle-eyed viewer may have noticed that at the start of the dive on the surface we had 2 dive flags, and the reason for this is because the instructor and the student doing the solo divers course were going to head back at a predetermined time in the dive. As we passed over a sandy spot I noticed the eyes of a ray buried in the sand and tried to attract the attention of all the other divers. A couple of meters further on I spotted 2 more eyes peeking out of the sand, and this time got a good shot with the GoPro. There's some very interesting rock structure at Moffat Beach. What we're looking at here are holes left behind by harder stones falling away from the eroding soft rock. And this is what these stones look like. The creatures that make the most of these holes in the rock are the sea urchins. It really creates the perfect little home for them. Like everything else in the ocean, even the spiny sea urchin has got its predators, and these are eaten by crabs, octopus, and even larger sea stars. This is all that's left after a predator has eaten the inside of the sea urchin. 40 minutes into the dive, one of the ladies indicated she was down to 100 bar, so Lee and the two ladies headed back to shore, leaving just myself and Gordo to carry on the dive. As the three of them headed off, I had a quick look at my compass just to confirm that they were heading in the right direction. Now, can you spot the big shark that's in this picture before I get too close to it? I was actually interested in the markings on this coral formation before I noticed it. And there it is, a magnificent specimen. Being an ambush predator, they rely on their camouflage. And I'm just imagining what's going through the Wobbegong shark's brain at the moment. It's thinking, I'm camouflaged. Can he see me? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Oh, yes he can. I think I'm going to move to a better spot where I might be more camouflaged. Fortunately, it didn't swim too far, which allowed me to catch up and get these wonderful, wonderful close-up shots. This wobby was about 1.6 meters in length, which is about 5.2 feet, so a fair size. After it had had enough of posing for the camera, it decided to swim off. And in just a short distance already, its camouflage was working and it faded into the background. As always, we did our usual picking up the rubbish that we could see routine. I also came across this raggedy old t-shirt, which I had to use my dive knife to cut free because it was wrapped around this soft coral. On the way back to shore, we came across this painted crate. You'll notice at first that he's got his feelers out to the left and the right, and as I approach he senses me and both feelers come forward to find out if this is a threat situation for him or not. As I get closer in, he decides he's not too happy and backs himself further into his crevice, kicking up some dirty sand as well, just to be on the safe side. 70 minutes after we started the dive, we hit our exit point. Two very happy divers. Not bad for a 70-minute dive.
Navigation skills. I got no idea.
You don't know really, I'm just following this guy in front. He's going somewhere, I'll follow him. Water temperature was a very comfortable 21 degrees, which is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and the viz was a minimum of 8 meters, which is 26 feet, and probably at some point stretching out to 10 or 12 meters. If you've enjoyed today's scuba diving adventure with Q, please leave a like and subscribe to see more videos, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. As soon as I see them, I'll get back to you. Take it easy. So yeah, it's a t-shirt. I think it's my size.
It's showtime.